Long deep breath. Good. And continue with heart breath. And today, listen to, this is going to be two words, very simple, and it is ripe, R-I-P-E, and the other is unripe, U-N-R-I-P-E. Do you have that?
Yes.
Okay. So continue through 3 minutes. Continue. And inhale. And exhale. Continue with. Okay. Agia Paul.
Yes,
Yes.
I was listening, but I wasn't sure what I was listening to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right and unright. And
R-I-P-E.
yeah, right. RITE. But
No,
I
not T. Not T.
oh
R-I-P-E.
oh RIPE. Thank you. Um
Okay. Well,
so
maybe you're not. Would you like to wait until
yeah,
another person?
yeah, I would thank you because I didn't catch the P. I'm sorry. Um
Okay.
I would like to pass and to come back to me. Thank you.
Okay. So, Sun City.
But what I got from the blessing of Sri Baba Chand, Guru Ram Das, is a deep wisdom about timing. So farmers have to really keep an eye on a crop, and they develop deep experience and knowledge of when the exact right time to harvest is. So, the peaches have this moment where they're perfect.
Mhm.
And I got the lesson in the loving instructions to be very attentive to timing and having a real sense of for some reason peaches kept coming up in my vision. Fuzzy, the perfect the peach starts to smell. I forget what farm I was on where there's peach trees, but they have a very fragrant, perfect, and they're perfectly ripe. And this contrast, so wisdom is pay careful attention, use all my senses to understand if this is the right moment to say something, if this is the right moment to take action, is this the right moment to stay inactive? Is a person ready for harvest? That is, are they ready to hear certain or do certain practices? Because I've been thinking about teaching yoga again or doing a sadhana because there's a space available nearby. And then was shown like all this commercial that was contrasted with all that beautiful presence and a deep relationship between the farmer and the crop. And you could even apply it to when when the sheep are ripe or the goats are ripe or the cows to give birth. What's that moment where the delivery is ready to happen? So it's contrasted with this image of a big industrial farm where they just, set up these vacuums and shoots and just suck the peaches off the tree, and they're hard and they're kind of green and don't have any fragrance. And they go to the supermarket where they're supposed to ripen, or in your kitchen, you buy them kind of hard and then put them in a nice bowl on the kitchen table and wait patiently for them to ripen. So it's a really important message about the times for me, and how perhaps for you. That Guru Ram Das wants me to be in Baba Siri Chand very aware of choices and timing when making choices, and really be in a prayerful, meditative space before taking action. So I pass for that. Satnam, everybody, good to be here.
Okay. And wait a minute, what was the last thing you were talking about?
my meditation, that beautiful, intimate relationship between grower, like we're all farmers in a sense, farmers for ourselves and farmers for others. That there's the contrast with that natural, deep relation. It's almost a metaphor for teacher and student. I have a teacher self and a student self, and the teacher self watches carefully for when the student's ready, when the student's ripe, and when the student's unripe. I've been unripe myself for certain messages from Yogi Bhajan and all sorts of stuff. But the last part of it was, so I had those many images about ripe and unripe, but
Wonderful.
I was left with that to be very careful. One of the challenges of this time is being really alert to ripe and unripe, for all dimensions of our lives. But I forget, the last part was a contrast with industrial farming, where I lived near a peach farm, or worked near one at one point. When the industrial approach it's okay, the date, we got to pack up these peaches for get it down to the grocery, get it over to market basket, and they come through with a vacuum and suck the fruit off the trees, the peaches off the trees, and they expect them to ripen in passage and it doesn't really work very well because they get real mealy and it doesn't work. So I'm just sharing the metaphor that came and the teaching I got. Wait
Okay.
till the moment is ripe
Okay.
in all interactions. So
The moment. Good. Thank you so much. Okay. Guru Das Prem. Are you there?
might be muted.
Say it again.
He might be muted somehow.
Gian Das Prem.
It's best if we all mute each other too for the sound of. I think it's best for others each other more clearly.
What are you saying?
Only
If
you.
we,
Yeah.
Say it again.
let there be that of the only unmuted. So all of us who are not speaking, be mute on the microphone setting all the way to the left.
Okay.
Connection seems a little low.
What were you saying? Gian Das Prem. So what's happening with Baba?
Would you
Siri
like
Gian, I think he's saying that he's having a bad connection today.
Oh my God. Okay.
He wants us all to mute so that he doesn't get unmuted.
Okay. So we'll talk to him as the last one. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So now, oh, wait a minute. How about Dave? Dave?
Yeah. Okay. For the ripe and unripe, it was like Baba showed me this kind of spectrum or this polarity between the two and how we're constantly fluctuating through different life cycles. And so in the unripe phase, we're preparing and strengthening and might be more protected in our auric field or in our cocoon, kind of like we're in the womb. And in the ripe phase, more soft fluid, there's a little more movement. The fruit kind of like falls off the vine without effort, more porous and open. And I got that ripe is more external, where unripe is more internal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good. Is there anything else? Are you continuing?
I think that's it for now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So maybe we are talking about the times, quote, the times for ripe and unripe. Okay. So how about Agya Paul? Is this okay?
Oh, sure. Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you for the extra time. So pretty much as Vade was saying, what Bubba showed me in an accelerated fashion was that we, through our life, or I'll speak for myself, I go through phases of being unripe, in other words, not ready, and then ripe, that is ready. And when I am ready, it's incumbent upon me to take action or to do something about whatever it is that has ripened within me, that's ready within me. And thinking about the times right now, it's the times for me now, it's ripe for me, and if I don't do something, if you don't eat something when it's ripe, it rots, so what I wanted to say was that for me now, it's really, really important for me to take action and to spread truth and love, like love, 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 and heart breath. And so I am ripe. It's funny because this is just kind of recently, to bring this to the world, because I've been in, clients are saying to me, oh my God, I'm going to have a breakdown. I'm this close from cracking up. And I say, there's the blessing of a lot of what I do now, it becomes spiritual. I said, the blessing, we are now ready to recognize that we need each other and we need to co-create with each other. So the times are ripe for this. And sometimes maybe individuals, are not quite ripe, and perhaps we can help them, or I can help them get ripe. So so it's a for me it's a what's it? It's like an alternating unripe, not ready, ripe, ready. And when I can recognize that I'm ready, it's my responsibility to act on it and to do what I think Baba Siri Chand and what soul, and expect soul to guide me in this. And it's taking a new kind of strength for me, and a new kind of strength to do this, to follow to the ripeness, and that, because the danger is if I don't, I rot. I mean, or we all we will all kind of rot, but then we have new life. And these, as we say, these are the times way back in the 70s with hair, this is the age of Aquarius. And so now the dawning of it. And now, so anyway, that's what I was hearing, that now is I am ripe. And now is therefore the time to share what I have, whatever I have, what love I have, let Guru work through me, and to help others that are not ripe to ripen. And we can't make rush that process. The ripening process is it's intelligent of its own self. You know what I mean? And we might, and also if we he showed me bananas, and if I got green bananas and I try to eat them, they kind of make you sick. I mean, you're not ready to do that. So anyway, that's what I heard from, this is an excellent, word, or two words. And I feel that it scares the living daylights out of me, because being ripe now, I have to take action. And I'm of the ilk who likes to sometimes hide and not stand out there. But now this is really forcing me to do that. I think that's it.
This is important. And what did you say? It was for you, like strength, or what was the other
Yeah,
word?
it's like a new strength that's coming through. And the strength is taking having the courage to step out and listen to the truth, with a capital T, listen to truth, and to share it. It takes a lot of courage for me to do that. And that's the strength that I was talking about.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. So, um, okay, so now let's try Japa Saraswati.
I knew it was my turn.
Oh, good.
So for ripe and unripe, I also heard mature and immature,
Mhm.
um, and I got the message about divine timing. So for me, it's really hard sometimes when I can't have my own way with timing. Like I want it now, and I'm kind of impatient sometimes.
Mhm.
Um, and that applies to a lot of different things. Like sometimes even I feel like I guess I put part of my message was socially, that like I I I don't know how to say it. Um, I'm gonna circle back to it, but with divine timing, um, I also felt half-baked cookies. Like they're immature cookies. Um, and what it made me think of was that a thing is, like soil when it's out in the garden is earth. And when it's inside of your house, it's dirt. Like if it's on your kitchen floor, it's dirt. And it's about sort of the things being in the divine timing and the divine placement that makes a thing ready. that makes a thing mature or immature or even overripe. And I and I heard sun ripened, and part of what else I got was politically ready. Um, I felt like with Kamala Harris, I felt um, like I guess I feel like the underdog, as a woman in politics, I feel like I feel like maybe America when Hillary ran, I was so excited to have a woman president. Um, and I was dating a dusty old Republican at the time who really wanted Trump to win. And I took it so personally. I felt like the patriarchy was personally holding me down, and I had to get out of a whole lot of situations when that happened. And and I felt like our country at the time wasn't ready for a woman president, or that maybe that's what I thought, maybe that's what I internalized. And now, like, I feel like everybody is all about, oh, you must make compromises. And I feel like the female condition is almost to be compromised. Like, when somebody bends, it's always us, I feel like. Anyway, and and now I feel like we just couldn't hang around waiting anymore and sitting on our thumbs and making more compromises, that we had to run, you know, a woman of color as our next political, big pundit here. And like I feel like we've been told wait until it's ripe for so long, and that we just can't wait any longer. And yeah, I guess I feel like also like the old ways of the patriarchy and the majority being white and Christian, that those are the people who are making the biggest heels in the ground. And I think it's because they're afraid of losing their way of life, that they see themselves going from having been the majority to quickly becoming the minority, and that they're raising as much stink as they can on their way, and that it's the tides of time and change, that it's time for a change, that we are ripe, that we are ripe. I guess that was really undirected, you guys, but that was what I got.
Mhm. Wonderful.
That's wonderful.
Okay. Two.
Helpful.
Good. Thank you. Oh,
Thanks, Siri Gian.
yeah. Honey Munder.
Yeah. Um, the word that came immediately first was digestion, and how it's difficult to digest whatever we're eating if it's not ripe. But digestion has all sorts of levels in food, physically, emotionally, and just as everyone has been saying, timing also. But how we digest what is offered, whether it can be digested, whether other people can digest what truth or does the untruth in the process of being digested emotionally make people sick. So that's what I got. But digestion was the key word.
That's wonderful. Do you know we use, and I can't remember for the Indian way of saying the digestion changes, all that crappy stuff in our mind. Digestion takes healing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Adimunder?
I got the first part, that digesting what
Yeah.
we're thinking.
Yeah. Healing is digestion.
Ah,
I
okay.
think AMA, AMA, and I think that's the difficult things inside your body or in your mind or your difficulty or whatever.
Yeah.
And the healing is digestion. Isn't
Ah,
that interesting? And then, of course, with digestion, then you have all of the food, all the nutrition. Okay. Good deal. Thank you.
Mhm.
Can I add something? Because about the digestion, I remembered part of what I was supposed to say, and it goes with digestion, is that I also kept flashing on my fencing teacher from Haiti when and he was a farmer and he was very attached to his land. And one day to him, I quoted Confucius. There's a line of Confucius about a good farmer is skinny while his cow is very fat. And when I told this to my teacher, he laughed with like such approval. And when I was really meditating, what I was getting was about that digestion, that the like what City said about the fruit being ripe and ready to eat, and the farmer knowing when to pick it, and the farmer themselves living, that lifestyle in balance with the land, and at the same time making sure, like living off the fat of the land was kind of what I felt, with the cow then being really fat. And I just kept thinking about this story. So um, thank you for letting me add that.
Wonderful.
Yes. Thank you so much. Okay, so now let's see. Oh, let's try again with Gyandas Prem to see if that's working better.
Okay, it
Oh, there it
is.
is.
Yay!
Satnam.
Sit down.
So it's so cool about the mention of the cocoon, because that's something that came through this morning that I was like trying to push away, like in my practice. Coming through from last week and the past couple of weeks, there've been so much information coming through, and I just wanted to, thank you for that mention this morning, because that's coming through so powerfully. Babaji, he shows up. It's the miracle of the mind and our creativity that allows us. He's telling me to play, with all of this movement that's going on, and but the two biggest words, and I wrote them down right away, were composition and correlation. And in that noticing of, how the life comes from those two things, and our opinions and our adjustments to the timing of those schedules of the plants that we're using for food and whatnot, and that composition of what's within that, and that goes all the way into my stomach. There was some discomfort. It seems that as we go through these talks, there are some challenges that we're faced with as we go back and listen to ourselves. And I think for myself, that's been difficult. And what Bubba has managed me to notice is a little spot of that mirror, and that noticing, of how sometimes when we breathe so deep, our eyes can go up too, right? Or our reaction to a certain way of becoming part of the elements that we're using in our food, in our water, and everything else. And coming back to that noticing of the timing of how the land moves with, the seasons, and how we're here along with that. And just coming back to the flower and noticing the flower, how it softens, and certain seeds are in certain flowers, and that we can notice the compositions and the correlations in between those two, and how those two words can mean so much to our fruitness, to our becoming, into that way of being. And just noticing the children and the way that they dance and have fun, and how freely they are to learn, and the natural ways that we move in the correlation to the yogic sciences as to how we may have noticed how children move into ways that can become more comfortable for us to move. And I think in that love teaching and that way of celebration of the earth, and how when we come into this part of the year where we have all of these celebrations happening around us, and the coming together of the foods, and I'm seeing cats laying down on straw, and how straw is just in this raw form. It's ripened, but yet it can go in so many types of weather and provide comfort, and yet it's only straw. So I think if we look at the simplicity of that too, and the shareability of that with, coming back to that softness of being together, who we're here with together as a group, yeah. And that coming to that Waheguru, and Babaji is telling me to get into the composition, to be into that more of that theoretical, if I want to write down and be creative with the words that are coming in for the vibration, and creating new songs, and perhaps coming up with the new mantra. Yeah, because there are new rediscoveries every day, and we know that Chopin will be releasing a song that was not yet released, that was found somewhere. So that's really fun, and I'm ready for that. And I think within the discovery of the child and that free movement, that we can see that way of, coming back to those thoughts and ways of vibrations that increased our ability to expand our imagination when we were younger. Yeah. And we can do that through creation and ways of our own. Yeah, that we're creating a new way, a new vibration here for these times, to come back to the opening of the basket and coming into that weaving. They're not knots, they're, we're here together. So yeah, Waheguru, and releasing, softening and releasing, number one message. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear. Okay, so now I'm just going to ask you from Baba Siri Chand. Now, what do you think about this time? Is that the time of ripening? Is it before? Is it unripe? And what is this that we're talking about in this age, at this moment, in the times, as we call?
Well, I would say back to last week's word of travelability, in our way to understand that full communication of all of those things being able to come together in us at a time of ripening, right? Or opening, so that we are able to, because there's a long way of history. There's how many, so we can go, let's say, instead of 7 generations, let's say 7,000 generations before. And now let's say 7,000 generations ahead. How's that?
Yeah,
that's so that can be within our creation of looking into the flower and noticing the nourishment that it takes, and our now our inherent ability of being able to change the alchemy of that by mixing different alchemizations together. And then that will compound the correlation of the, back to these other words, which there is a composition within that too, that we all can come to noticing, to inherent abilities or just a list of ingredients, right? So, and I can let that explanation go too, but part of the expanding of that is being with all of that, that allows that creation to continue to expand and to show itself to us. And now we have these cameras, mirrors that we're able to take to other places and reflect the vibration of this that's going on back to here. So that gives us a little bit more room to move into that travelability. And I think if we can realize that the little that we're riding on is along with all of that that we're here with. So there's a simplicity in that too, that comes to the point of the letting go of that ripening when the baby comes out by itself, and we could see that in different ways within our own, and Bubba shows me, it's plenum is the word, it's plenum, and it's, if a room isn't constructed correctly and you go and you pull the door too tight, it just pulls right down on the ceiling tiles. And, we can notice if we plan before building that particular space, that is something that we can have as a knowledge before going into sucking all the air out of that area. And sometimes that can be right to where I am in my physical being, noticing that, like back to the eyes go up, in the breath, and it's just challenged in a way, but it's not going to take it away right there, everything, right? Because it's just going to lay us down softly. And that's also part of the progression that we come to within this way of accepting. And it's personal for myself. I mean, I live with my mom. So, hey, this is a way for me as a man, a 60-year-old man, to try to see, these different ways and be with that softening, be within that, of that personal experience of returning and sharing and trying to come from caring with love that has allowed all of this life here for so long to just be. Yeah. So if the laughter could take over, then let's go dance. If we can't dance, then let's try to find some sort of peace in our heart that can allow us, the tears to come, or the joy, or there is discomfort in there too. And I'm going to say that there is a way through that, through healing, and the sound of that. It's, for me, it's Sesame Street. It's just that song stuck in my head of wherever I am is probably can be the brightest place if I make that light come from within, right? And just somehow it becomes convincing back to me, looking at myself as a child and saying, and that releasing of that opinion, and why Guru, and wow, it's just whoa. And because there will be some other place, there will be some other time approaching right now here in the future that still brings me to now. And that's my explanation. And I love you very much. And I hope that we can somehow will be there together, as this vibration and the lights come together, and that, like a divinity circle with a little flower in the middle, that the flower just continues to grow and grow and grow until, the 8 looks the petals, the flower petals. So thank you so much for this opportunity and the love that has allowed me to come, to this world through my mom and my dad creating me, and however they came together, that was the two of them. And then here I am now to follow, what they're going to listen to. Thank you so much. And that too, Waheguru. The sky is my place.
Thank you so much. Okay, now I want to ask about you. Unripe to ripe. Also, and what is the process of going from unripe to ripe? For instance, like for heat, or, in the other way of talking of for fire, or digestion. What is that, what do you call that dark time is moving from unripe to ripe? So what is that process? Who would like to talk about that?
Well, the thing that's coming to my mind is a maternal gestation. And the other thing that's coming immediately to mind is the heat. I don't know if when I explained tapas a couple of weeks ago, several weeks ago, tapas, which is the heat that burns off karma, in Sanskrit, but it comes from the root top, and top is TAP. It comes from the mother. It's in Sanskrit. It originates from like a broody hen who sits on her eggs and creates that heat. And for us to understand in tapas that the heat of austerity or the heat of self-discipline or the heat of even like uncomfortable situations, like I feel like a slap on the face, like the heat from being from a slap on the face, that especially from my mother. Fliskum is how you call it in Yiddish, a slap in the face from your mother. And it is a mother's love. It's like I feel it as an austerity, that like how parents give so much to raise their children. Like that's so much austerity that parents do in order to brood their little chicks. That is what I feel is the the bridge between unripe and ripe.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. Are you done, Jeppa? Saraswati?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So to speak, right? No pun intended. Okay. So I just want to say that I as you were talking, I'm asking myself, what is heat? And the what Bubba just told me was heat is an increase in vibration, in when the molecules go faster and they and frequency. So what for me is the process of ripening is the process of raising my frequency, and that happens when I love, when I send out love, because love, of course, is the highest frequency. We all know about solfeggio frequencies and the frequency, all those but this is for me what causes the ripeness. It's the heat or the raising of my frequency, and that can happen only when I'm kind and generous and loving. So that's kind of news to me for that. I just got that. So anyway, I wanted to share that.
That's beautiful.
Oh,
Really is.
gracias.
Okay. So is this appears to be how to move the darkness from unripe, and what you're talking about is a vibration of love to move into love, what is soft and what is truth, what is birth, and so on. Do you feel that?
Oh, yes.
Beautiful. Why beautiful?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. So please be sure about what we have just learned, what's going to happen about 1 week from now. Do you understand? you understand that?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Since you said please.
Please. Good. Okay. Well, thank you all. Remember that at least with the week from now, and then also continue what happens after that. You got it?
Yeah.
That's the process to the right.
Right.
Okay. Thank you, people.
Thank
And
you.
Siri Chand.
Thank you.
Okay. No, now, Huddy Munder, would you lead our song?
Okay. Inhale deeply and exhale. And inhale to begin. May the long time sunshine upon you, all
Loves around you.
and the pure light
Light
within
within.
you guide your way on. Guide
Your way on.
guide
Your
way on.
Inhale. So love you all. And remember, stay with that song. Okay?
Okay.
It tells you exactly what you're saying.
Thank you.
Love you all.
Everybody.
Love you too. Thank you so much.
Love you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. See you
Bye
next week.
bye.
Love
See you
you.
later.